growing and helping build the human capacity potential of people around me, organizations, and the like. One very interesting target audience that I have encountered in the course of my work that is not properly catered for, it's not well catered for, are the people who are core members, who are about to get into service or who are in service. These people receive some of the worst information that there is, and so we have fewer and fewer people as the days go by. We have fewer and fewer people that take advantage of this priceless gift that the NYC is. Yes, some people say, oh, the NYC is bad, they should scrap it or whatever. One of the very interesting things I say about life is that no one will force you to take advantage of your advantages. Nobody will force you. You just have to do the bare minimum, what is required, right? But when it comes to advantages, no, nobody will force you to take advantage of your advantages. Looking back at my time in NYSC, I made a lot of mistakes. I knew what I wanted to do. I wasn't sure how, and I made a lot of mistakes. And leaving that behind and growing over time, I figured out. I also have friends. I mean, that did great from the NYC, and it kind of just set them up for life. And this is what this series is, especially for the rest of the year, as it were. I will just be giving tips once monthly of what NYC is, why NYC is, and what you should do with your NYC. Now, the first thing that I have to tell you here is that your service here is a blessing more than a cost. And it's a blessing because you get the opportunity to meet diverse people from diverse backgrounds. You know, why we're saying, oh, the university is a melting point of different people from different disciplines, different homes, and all of that. That is great, but the way education is, tertiary education is these days, it's a little bit skewed, and because of the way life is going, there's very few interaction, as it were. But this NYC throws you into real life beyond just grades and that kind of thing. I titled this life the most underrated thing, the most underrated advantage you have with your NYC. It's just very important. And it's something very simple that we overlook it. It is simply the gift of asking questions. The gift of asking questions. That is the most underrated thing when we look at NYC and you having to wear that khaki. If you are a prospective core member here, congratulations that you are watching this video before you even begin your embark on your NYC journey. What are the type of things you should do when you're looking at asking questions? The first thing is that you have to ask a lot of questions before you actually get in. You have to ask a lot of questions before you start. If you are currently serving, that's fine. You should learn from some of the things that I'll tell you and just build up from there. But for the first group of people, the people who are yet to get in, this is very important. You have to ask questions. Ask 1,000,000,001 questions. What does it look like to serve? What does it look like to serve in certain cities? Do I need to change cities if I want to advance in so and so career? What city favors my best career path? Because whether we like it or not, environments are very important. They are very important to thriving. You can be the best of whatever it is. Imagine being the best cook in a place where people don't eat cooked food. They just pluck stuff and eat, or hunt and eat. It doesn't make any sense. You are not going to be valuable to the people around there. So if you are a prospective core member, the first thing you have to do is to ask questions. Ask a lot of questions. Ask 1,000,000,001 questions. The fact that you are putting on khaki, that NYSC Khaki, it gives you this form of prestige in Nigeria, as it were. So no matter how foolish, although I'm not an advocate for asking foolish questions, no matter how foolish your questions are, people most probably point you in the right directions. But ask questions. Don't go into NYSC blind. I'll give you an example from myself. I knew at that point in time I had wanted to lecture. My gift for teaching and affinity for teaching, beyond what I do now, my consulting practice and all of that, I thought that I would do well in the classroom. And so I asked questions. I was supposed to be retained, go back to serve in my school and all of that. But I didn't ask a lot of questions. If I had asked, I would have been told that it was going to be near impossible to finish from a particular school and go back there to serve in that particular school. It was kind of against the NYSC rules and all of that. And that period, they were trying to clamp down on that type of thing. I would have, if I had asked enough questions and I had truly taken feedback, correct feedback from Stars of Blue, Hello, I Can See You, from my lecturers and my teachers in there, I would have maybe switched to a private university, maybe now university, or maybe even the College of Education or whatever it is in Suba, here in FCT or whatever, and kicked off my lecturing career. But I missed a very interesting launch pad when it comes to lecturing because I didn't ask enough questions before getting in there. I just knew, hello, Ethan. I just knew, my school wanted me to come back and all of that. There was kind of a chance that I would lecture and I would lecture back, and I loved speaking, I loved teaching, and I would go back there. And that didn't quite work. I was posted there, but it didn't work. It didn't work at all. School was like, well, I would like to have you. They're clamping down on this type of behavior, so you cannot school here and serve here. Another thing with misconception, if I had asked also, I would have changed to more of an academic institution, right? Than a, what they call it now, than where I served, which was finally NIMET, right? Nigerian Meteorological Agency. That's where I ended up serving. I served as, a meteorological officer, where we had to take readings of temperature from different parts of the country and contribute to both the rainfall. I mean, it was a lot of technical work, but I would have been a lot better if I had thought and if I had asked questions. Perhaps started off in consultancy or something like that, and I didn't quite do that. For those of you who are serving right now, ask questions, ask more questions. Oh God, ask questions in your workplace. Walk up to your boss, walk up to the people that you are serving in the organizations and ask them, what does it take to build a career here? What type, not here as in the organization as it were, it could be twofold, but blow it out of proportion. What does it mean to build a career in this particular industry? What would you say if you had a child and there was one piece of advice you had to leave behind for that child? Get very creative with your questions. And you say they don't like you, what? That's not true. A lot of people have a lot of residual knowledge that they want to give out, but nobody seems to be as interested in moving their lives forward. You know, it's to him that hath that more is given, and the person that does not have, even that which they have will be taken away from them. So ask questions. Ask for the people who are already in service. Ask questions. What does it mean to live here? What does it mean to do this? What does it mean to do that? Look for very interesting people who are living the lives that you want to live, and ask questions. There's an African adage that says that the person that asks questions does not actually get lost. So the more questions you ask, the more you wouldn't get lost. Forget about, I don't know how to stress it enough. It's going to be a lot more difficult when you are without that khaki, that NYSC khaki, and you're going about asking very important, life-defining questions, especially from people that you don't have very good, very deep relationships with. They will look at you like you are stupid, you are foolish. Why should they? They don't even know why you're asking the question. They really don't know how to answer, if they should answer, if they should be honest, if they should have candor, if they should involve candor in their conversation with you. But with that NYSC, this thing, that screams, I'm just starting out. I'm just done with school. This is my first shot at work life, as it were. Whether it's true or whether it's not true, that gives you some form. It covers whatever it is with some form of prestige and some form of protection that helps you get the better types of answer out of people and out of society, right? I promise you. Let me give you this example. Very recent example that happened this year. And the person who it happened to, some people who are close to me will know, although I'll try to anonymize the example as much as possible. So there's someone who I love very much and who has stayed with me we've had a relationship for getting to 6-7 years. I mean, before the person got into school and all of that, I played mentorship, a serious mentorship role across the board. For this length of years until the person was done with school. Oh, you've graduated finally. Congrats and all of that, rang the bells and all that. So it was time for service, and I asked, where do you want to serve? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And this person told me, oh, I want to work for the government. I smiled and I detailed out two important options. So you want to become a civil servant, right? Number one, this is the path. You can work your NYC in such a way that you receive a national award. When you receive a national award, automatically, so go and look for what it takes to receive a national award. I told him, go check out what it takes to receive a national award. It means that you must not redeploy from where you were posted to. I think there's a whole lot of things about personal community development projects. Sure, you must have done something very important in the community that your state, your LGI and your state coordinators and all of that push you and recommend you for a national award. You get employed. You just get employed with the government if that was your goal. So that is your goal. That is what you are supposed to earn at, to work at if you say you want to work with the government. Or secondly, you are done with service. Go and look for somebody. We Nigerians we know what it takes. Civil service is still a hot cake. They are no longer employing as they should employ. But if you know the right people and you can do the right things, you most probably get it. And so that was what I told this person. And this person did, and we had a conversation across the board of several things, the type of CDS projects work with, what to do and all of that. It was sad that at the end of the day, this person just would not take the advice, right? And when this person will not take the advice, the person was posted to another state to get the state of the person's choice. The person was posted to another state, did camp there, and redeployed to come back to the FCT. Once he did that redeployment, it means it's naturally 100% meant that everything that he had planned as regards getting that national award had swept away, was washed out. So what's the next thing? That was the next question I kept asking. So where exactly, when he said he wanted to work in the government, so where exactly for your NYC? I began to pressure. Where exactly for your NYC exactly do you want to serve? Do you want to serve in the private sector or in the government sector? Then you get absorbed. What exactly, what offices, what inspires you? And person like, because of what I studied, I want to work in the government. I'm like, it's not enough to just say you want to work in the government. Where exactly, which government agency, which parastatal? What lights up a fire in your eyes? What do you think, what system do you think you want to play in for the next 5 years that you can add value into? But we had spoken about this for months until it caused a rift in our relationship. A rift in our relationship in the sense that this person had felt that, you don't like me, or if you don't want to help me, just tell me you don't want to help me, right? And don't pressure me like this. The service has not started. Don't pressure me like this. I'm like, no, there are ways to get your most preferred place of service. You can write letters. Nobody stops you as a prospective corps member. Nobody stops you to write to whoever, wherever, saying, you know what, I'm done with school, I'm waiting for service, I want to be in this city, and this is my goal for the next 2 years or next 5 years, and I believe that organization is the best place where I can get a head start, I can learn from you and all of that. I'm even beyond learning and doing all of that. This is the value that I have, and this is what I can contribute to your organization in the time being while I'm learning. I don't think very, 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 very few prospective corps members, even very few corps members at the start, can do this, can write this type of letter. If you are working in an organization, you know that it is a rarity to come by this type of letters. And this type of letters, if a letter like this lands on your desk, you know that it's someone with a high penchant for excellence and someone with serious ambition that can add value to whatever it is. Yeah. So I believe I'm back. And so, where was I in the story? And so, very interestingly, I asked, what exactly would you love to do? What exactly would you rather do, right? What organization, like, we can send out these letters and get, you can't mark 5, and that's where it got very tricky. I told him I could refer, but I'm not going to put my integrity on the line when I'm not sure that you are going to offer value, and I'm not sure that it's something that you want, right? I don't want you to be like me that will say, oh, so and so person forced me to serve in this other agency, instead of directing me in the right place. So I needed to actually know, what do you want? What exactly is it that you want? What do you want exactly as a human being? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? That should inform what government agencies, if that's what you want, that you want to serve in, or what private entities that you want to serve in. And it was bad. It was bad. It was sad. It was deeply sad. It caused a very big fracture of our erstwhile good relationship, where the person just looks at me and like, nah, you don't like me. You just don't like me. If you had liked me, you would have suggested places for me to serve in, or you would take advantage of your vast networks to throw me into organizations. I'm like, it doesn't work that way. I will not do that, because I've had a personal experience of what of being thrown into a place blind can cause. And so that happened, and finally he got someone. Till today he's already serving. He has never really explained why. What he has told me, he wants to serve with the government, but he has never really explained why he's choosing the organization he's choosing, and what that looks up for him. And let me tell you one very interesting thing now. You see, goals are not different from wishes. They say, if wishes were horses, beggars would ride. Goals are not different from wishes until they become specific, and they have a time. Until they become specific, you know exactly why, how you want to get it, what you want to get, and the time frame. And so that's one of the things that a lot of people who work closely with me will find out, that I would begin to get really agitated if we are trying to do things and we are not as specific as possible, as quickly as possible, and there's no concrete time frame, right, around what we are doing. So that's on one hand. On another hand, I had there's this international organization that for the period being, I had stuff doing with them, and this other person said, oh, he had studied so and so course, and it had to do with diplomacy and speaking foreign languages, and he would have loved to do that. I said, great, you can ask them to submit and get back to me. And I think I told him also that beyond just submitting a posting letter, go with a cover letter saying, this is who I am, this is what I stand for, this is what I believe, this is the value that I can add, and this is where I see myself in the next few years. But you know what? I thought the person would come back and say, oh, this was why I did this, or this is the letter and all of that. Can you help me review and all that? But he submitted and he never got back to me. And I think he's done with his NYSC now, and he never served in that organization. See, wake up. Organizations are not looking for liabilities. They are not just looking for core members to just come and do whatever it is that they want to do and go. It is sad, but it is sad that the stakes are a lot higher right now. In my dad's time, because of the cost that you have studied, if possible, you get a car, you get a spacious apartment and all of that as a core member. But that's not so today. I didn't experience that, and most probably some of you guys that are going to become members in this year or 2026 and going forward, you would even experience worse. So more and more organizations don't want hand-me-downs. Organizations don't just want people that will just come and just be because they are core members. They need people that will add value. So you, Mr. Core Member, Madam Core Member, what is your own personal goal? Where do you want to last in the next 5 years? What type of work do you want to do? These are some of the questions. So while you are asking other people outside, it's very important that you begin to ask yourself, where do I want to be? What type of place do I want to serve in? What type of organizations do I see myself working in? And that should inform lots of your choices. Yeah, some people go for the money, some people go for the comfort, some people just do it, let me just go and do it and finish like that. But that's not for you. That if you're going to be an intentional core member, and if your life is going to literally change thanks to NYSC, if you are going to take the best out of NYSC, you have to take advantage of what that khaki stands for, which is prestige and some form of protection, right? National protection. You have to use that prestige and protection to ask questions. You ask questions for you, you ask questions to you, you ask questions for your life and for your future. So ask yourself, where do I see myself? What type of thing do I actually really want to do? And go out there and crush it. Get answers to these questions, act on them, and you find out that your life becomes a extremely, exceedingly better and better and better and better. So for those of you who are in and around the core member space, NYSC, begin to ask yourself, what are the questions? What are the questions you ask your boss? What are the questions you have to sit down with yourself and answer? What are the changes you are going to make when you get answers to some of these questions? You have to trust that some of the people, especially if there are people that are living the ideal life, the life that you want to live in future, that their answers may not make sense to you, and that is all right. That is totally all right. If they are close to reasonable people, I would implore you to actually act on their answer first of all before you think that it makes or it doesn't make sense. So if there are any questions about core members and all of that, I'll see you in April. Drop them in the chat before April, and if we get enough questions, I may just do a follow-up live like this where I dispel and I answer some of the questions that I see. Most importantly, if you have friends and people who are core members or who are prospective core members or who are in their final year, it's very important that you send this video to them and you get them to watch it till the end. I believe they should have better questions to ask you, and they should have better questions to ask themselves, and their NYC days will get a lot more better just because they began to ask questions. Thank you and God bless you.